Imagine this: a man standing at the edge of space, 24 miles above Earth, about to jump. Not for science, not for a military mission, but for an energy drink. That's right, we're talking about Red Bull's Stratos jump and the incredible marketing strategy behind it. This wasn't just a crazy stunt though, it was brilliant product marketing at its finest. And by the end of today's episode, I'll show you exactly how you can apply these same principles to your own business, even if you don't have a Red Bull sized budget. It's 2012, and Red Bull did something that no other brand has ever attempted. They didn't launch a new energy drink. They didn't release a celebrity endorsed commercial. They didn't even spend millions on traditional advertising. Instead, they sent a man into space. Felix Baumgartner, an Austrian skydiver, ascended 24 miles above Earth in a helium balloon, then jumped, breaking the sound barrier on his way down. 8 million people watched it live on YouTube, making it one of the most watched live events in internet history at the time. And Red Bull, they weren't just a drink company anymore. They became the brand that pushed human limits. This wasn't about selling a drink. It was about selling an idea that Red Bull truly gives you wings. And the impact was absolutely massive. Sales had skyrocketed after that jump, further cementing Red Bull's dominance in the energy drink market. Brand loyalty exploded, with Red Bull becoming synonymous with extreme sports and adventure. And they built an audience, not just customers, by creating one of the most talked about marketing campaigns of all time. But here's the thing about that. See, most brands focus on traditional advertising, TV ads, billboards, influencer sponsorships, but Red Bull didn't do any of that. They built their own platform. They created their own media empire. They made the audience come to them. Think about it. They didn't sponsor an event. They became the event. Rather than shouting, "Drink Red Bull, it gives you energy," they showed people what their brand stood for. They made Red Bull synonymous with pushing human limits, defying gravity, and chasing the impossible. And the result? They didn't need to push their product because people naturally associated Red Bull with high energy, risk taking, and peak performance. Now, let's break down exactly what they did and how you can use these same principles to market your own business, whether you're selling courses, coaching, software, or services. The first principle is to sell an idea, not just a product. Red Bull doesn't sell drinks anymore. They sell adrenaline, adventure, and pushing the limits. Their product is an extension of that idea. When you buy a Red Bull, you're not just getting caffeine, you're tapping into the mindset of an extreme sports enthusiast. Most creators and entrepreneurs make the mistake of only selling features. This course has 10 plus hours of content, or this software has 20 plus integrations. No, don't do that. Instead, sell the outcome and the feeling. Say things like, "This course will help you go from 0 to 10K a month doing X." Ask yourself, what does your audience truly want to experience? And sell that. The second principle is to create a spectacle and build anticipation. Red Bull didn't just drop Felix from space overnight. They built the hype for years. They released teasers, they gave behind the scenes footage. They made the audience feel like they were a part of the journey. By the time the Stratos jump happened, millions were already invested into the story. For you and your business, this means teasing your product launch weeks or even months in advance. Share the behind the scenes of how you're building it. Make your audience feel like they're part of the journey, not just spectators. When you create anticipation, your audience isn't just waiting for the product, they're rooting for it to succeed. The third principle is to own your own distribution. Don't rely on other platforms. Most brands rely on external media for coverage, but Red Bull became the media. They built Red Bull Media House, a content empire that produces documentaries, extreme sports films, and viral stunts. They don't depend on TV networks, and they don't rely on journalists. They own the entire distribution pipeline. So as a creator, This means building your own newsletter and your email list so you're not at the mercy of social media algorithms. Create content that keeps your audience engaged on your terms. Invest in platforms that you can control, like your website, your email list, or your personal brand. When you own the distribution, nobody can take your audience away from you. And then the fourth and final principle is to give away value first, then monetize. Red Bull gave away the biggest marketing stunt of all time for free. They didn't charge people to watch the Stratos jump. They didn't run ads on the stream. They delivered insane value up front and cashed in later through brand loyalty and product sales. Creators should be doing the same thing. Share free, valuable content that attracts the right audience. Build trust before asking for the sale. And then the more you give, the more authority you gain. So when you do launch a paid offer, people will trust you enough to buy. So let's recap the 4 key lessons from Red Bull's Stratos jump. 1. Sell an idea, not just a product. Make your audience feel something. 2. Create a spectacle and anticipation. Hype matters more than you think. 3. Own your distribution. Stop relying on platforms you don't control. And then 4. Give value first, then monetize. Trust builds sales. These aren't just abstract concepts. They're actionable principles that you can implement in your business starting today. And here's the thing. These are the exact principles I use in my 5-step product marketing blueprint. It's the system that helps creators sell without constantly chasing customers. This blueprint breaks down exactly how to position your product around an idea and not just features. It builds anticipation before you even launch. And then you create content that attracts your ideal customers, you own your distribution channels, and you give massive value up front to build trust. So if you're tired of struggling to get your products noticed, if you're exhausted from constantly chasing customers, or if you want a marketing system that actually works, then the 5-step product marketing blueprint is for you. Red Bull's Stratos jump wasn't just a man falling from space. It was a masterclass in product marketing that we can all learn from. If you want to build a marketing funnel that actually works, grab the 5-step product marketing guide at the link in the show notes. This is the exact system I use with my client to help them build audiences that buy. So until next time, remember, sometimes the best way to sell isn't to sell at all. It's to create something so remarkable that people can't help but pay attention. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you on the next episode. Amado.